Welcome to the Cala Builders Podcast. Today we're doing a deep dive into a really fascinating stack of case studies and market data you sent over.
Yeah, there is a ton of incredible information in this batch.
Right. And it's all about a room that, easily eats up 40% of your renovation budget in just wood and stone alone.
Oh, at least 40%.
Yeah. It's the room that forces you to eat microwave dinners in your living room for 3 months while it's being worked on.
Which is the worst part.
It really is. But statistically, it is also the single best financial investment you can make in your home.
Absolutely.
We are talking about the ultimate guide to kitchen remodeling. And we're specifically focusing on local trends and pricing in Woodland Hills.
It's just such an interesting space to analyze because it's where expectation violently meets reality.
That is a great way to put it.
Yeah, and often that meeting is a bit of a collision if you aren't prepared for the logistics involved.
Which most people aren't.
Right. So our mission for you today, as you listen to us explore these materials, is to completely demystify this process of home transformation.
Exactly. We are going to look at the costs, the trends, the timelines, and exactly what moves the needle on all three.
And to do that properly, we really need a framework.
We do, and we are framing this entire deep dive through the case studies in your sources from Cala Builders.
Right. They are a premier design-build general contractor operating out of Los Angeles.
By looking at how an expert team approaches these incredibly stressful overhauls, we can basically see the actual mechanics of how you turn, construction chaos into a seamless reality.
It's all about having the right people.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because before we even talk about ripping out cabinets or arguing over countertop finishes...
The fun stuff.
Right, the fun stuff. Before that, we need to understand the architecture of the team actually doing the work.
Which is crucial.
Because a successful remodel relies entirely on who is holding the hammer and the blueprints.
That is the perfect place to start. I mean, you can have the most beautiful vision in the world, clipped from a dozen magazines.
Oh yeah, a massive Pinterest board.
Exactly. But if the execution fails, the vision just doesn't matter.
So true.
Looking at the documentation here, Cala Builders operates under license number 1156496, and they're structured as a full-service design-build firm.
Which means they handle everything. High-end residential, commercial projects, all across LA County.
We are talking Woodland Hills, Calabasas, and
Sherman Oaks, Pasadena, West LA.
Yeah, and their scope is just massive.
It really is. I was looking through the portfolio you provided, and it shows everything from luxury new home construction, including those incredibly complex hillside builds.
Which are a nightmare structurally if you don't know what you're doing.
Oh, I bet. They also do framing, accessory dwelling units, or ADUs.
Right. Detached and attached ADUs, garage conversions.
They even do outdoor spaces with swimming pools, concrete pavers, custom built-in BBQs.
And they handle commercial builds, too, like restaurant construction and ADA compliance projects.
It tells you a lot about the underlying logistical muscle of the company, doesn't it?
It really does. Let's look at the mechanism there. If a company knows how to engineer a foundation into a 45-degree Los Angeles hillside without it sliding into the canyon...
Right, which sounds terrifying.
Yeah, or if they know how to navigate the intense health and safety codes of a commercial restaurant build-out.
Then routing a new gas line for a residential kitchen island suddenly becomes a walk in the park.
Exactly. The logistical expertise translates directly. And according to your notes, what really sets them apart is their core in-house team.
Right, let's look at that roster for a second. You have Mehdi Ebadat, the owner, who is a licensed General B contractor with over 30 years of experience.
And for anyone who isn't steeped in construction jargon, a General B contractor essentially means they are licensed to oversee the entirety of a structure's construction.
Not just a single specialty trade, like just plumbing or just electrical.
Right. Then there is Shahina Itarafi, the lead project manager, who is also a licensed General B contractor.
He is the one managing the timeline from the first permit to the final punch list.
And by the way, a punch list, if you haven't survived a remodel, is just that final checklist of tiny touch-ups and fixes before the contractor formally hands the keys back to you.
The little details. And beyond the management side, you have the design and systems experts all under the same roof.
Right. Argavan Abidat is the senior lead designer.
She translates the homeowner's vision into architectural 3D renderings and plans that are actually code compliant.
Which is huge. Then you have Aliyah Abidat, their licensed electrician, and Madedad Mogharibi, their licensed plumber and project manager.
Now, hold on. I have to play devil's advocate here for a second.
Go for it.
I want to push back on this whole design-build concept they champion. Every contractor claims to do it all. But isn't design build just a fancy way of saying, like, we want to take a cut of everything?
That's a common fear, yeah.
Why shouldn't a homeowner just hire a brilliant independent architect, a separate designer, and then go find their own plumber and electrician to save some money? Like, does having them all under one roof actually make a tangible difference?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it actually changes the entire dynamic and really the failure rate of the project.
How so?
Well, the traditional model you just described is called design, bid, build. It involves you, the homeowner, acting as a mediator between an independent architect, a designer, a general contractor, and a dozen subcontractors.
Sounds like a full-time job.
It is. And here's the reality of construction. Something always goes wrong. A pipe isn't where the blueprint said it was, or a load-bearing wall is hiding a surprise.
And when that surprise happens, I'm guessing the traditional model devolves into a massive blame game.
Exactly. The designer blames the contractor for not following the plan. The contractor blames the designer for an impractical plan that defies the laws of physics.
Right.
The plumber is fighting with the framer over who gets to use the space inside a wall cavity. And meanwhile, all work stops.
And your kitchen is just sitting there with exposed studs, no drywall, and you're eating microwave meals in the living room for another month.
Precisely. The design-build model ensures streamlined communication because the designer, the project manager, the plumber, and the electrician are already colleagues.
Oh, I see. They collaborate from day one.
Yeah, Argavan, the designer, isn't going to draw up a plumbing layout that Mehrdad, the plumber, can't efficiently and legally install.
Because they actually talk to each other.
Right, and because they communicate internally, it leads directly to faster timelines and strict budget control. Nothing falls through the cracks between disparate companies.
Okay, that makes total sense. It's fundamentally about accountability.
Definitely.
So if a unified team stops money from falling through the cracks, that brings up the elephant in the room.
The budget.
Yeah, how much money are we actually talking about here? If I'm standing in my Woodland Hills kitchen right now and I want to tear it down, what does it cost?
Based on the current local pricing data in your sources, a typical Woodland Hills kitchen remodel ranges from $35,000 to $95,000.
Wow, okay. That is a massive range.
It is. So we need to break it down into the specific tiers of intervention.
Right, because every remodel ultimately starts with three fundamental questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
What stays, what goes, and what gets upgraded.
Exactly.
The first tier is the cosmetic refresh. This means you are keeping your exact layout, but you are updating the paint, the cabinet hardware, and the backsplash.
And that is going to run between $8,000 and $20,000.
Then you step up to the mid-range remodel. This is where you are keeping the general footprint of the room, but you are fully replacing the cabinets, installing new countertops, and bringing in new appliances.
And in Woodland Hills, that typically falls between $35,000 and $65,000.
And if you are doing a full renovation, meaning you are actually changing the layout, knocking down a wall to open the space, moving plumbing, and installing custom cabinetry, you are looking at $70,000 to $95,000.
Yeah, and for a truly high-end, completely custom kitchen, the data shows it easily exceeds $100,000.
So to put this in perspective for you, a cosmetic refresh is basically just downloading a software update for your kitchen.
Right.
But a full renovation is like taking the computer apart, upgrading the motherboard, and rebuilding the entire machine from scratch.
That is a highly accurate analogy. Moving the physical systems, the plumbing, the gas lines, the electrical panels to support larger appliances, that is changing the motherboard.
It's heavy lifting.
It requires a totally different echelon of labor, specialized expertise, and city permitting.
Yeah.
But here is the crucial financial context that often gets lost in the sticker shock. Remodeling a kitchen is rarely just an expense. It is a strategic investment in the property's equity.
Yeah, the return on investment, or ROI, is incredibly high here. The real estate data shows that homeowners typically recoup 70 to 90% of their remodeling costs at resale.
Which is huge. Kitchens are consistently the #1 room buyers evaluate first.
A dated kitchen instantly slows a sale down, while a newly updated one speeds it up and drives up the final closing price.
Absolutely.
So you're essentially parking a large portion of that money right back into your own net worth.
Precisely. And because labor rates and permit fees stay fairly consistent across the San Fernando Valley, these Woodland Hills numbers track closely with the broader LA area averages.
Okay, but now that we know the total cost, we have to look at the anatomy of that budget. Where exactly is that $65,000 going?
Right into the 50-50 split.
The 50-50 split.
Yeah, the breakdown in the case study shows that on a standard mid-range kitchen remodel, materials and labor usually split right down the middle.
Huh. Half goes to the physical stuff, half goes to the people installing it.
Exactly. And here is a wild statistic. Just the cabinets and the countertop installation alone eat up roughly 40% of the total budget.
Wait, 40%? That's almost half the budget on just two things.
It is the lion's share of the material cost, yeah.
Mhm.
And it makes sense when you understand the mechanics. Custom cabinets are like a tailored suit.
Right.
You aren't just paying for the wood, you're paying for the intense labor required to measure, build, and install those boxes so they fit perfectly against the often uneven, slightly slanted walls of a typical Woodland Hills home.
That makes sense. And I imagine countertops are similar.
Oh yeah, countertop prices fluctuate wildly based on a stone's origin, its thickness, and the complexity of the edge profile you choose.
And the sources emphasize a really interesting point about countertops here. Contractors highly recommend looking at a wide range of samples in your kitchen's actual lighting before you commit.
Yes, you can't just pick something under the harsh fluorescent lights of a massive showroom.
You absolutely cannot. The ambient light, the tree coverage outside your window, the way the afternoon sun hits your specific Woodland Hills home, all of that will dramatically change how a piece of natural stone looks once it is horizontally installed in your space.
It's a huge rookie mistake to just order from a catalog.
Okay, but beyond the physical materials, there is a massive external factor that impacts the budget, which the sources call the seasonal secret.
Ah, yes. The timeline strategy.
Right. Spring and early summer bring the absolutely highest demand for contractors. I guess everyone panics and wants their house ready for summer barbecues.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because of that sudden surge in demand, material lead times stretch out and quotes generally run much higher. But if you plan in the fall or winter, you can lock in better pricing on cabinets and appliances before that spring rush hits.
It's basic supply and demand economics applied to home renovation. Understanding this anatomy, the 50-50 labor split, the heavy financial weight of cabinets and counters, and the seasonal demand curve, it allows you to prioritize your spending based on what actually matters most to you.
So what does this all mean for timing then? If I want a new kitchen, am I essentially throwing money away if I start my project in May instead of November?
Well, throwing money away is a strong term, but you are absolutely paying a premium for convenience and timing.
Okay.
If you start in May, you are competing with every other homeowner in the San Fernando Valley for the exact same labor pool and the exact same supply chain of white oak cabinets and quartz countertops.
So everything slows down.
You will likely pay more, and you will almost certainly wait longer. Planning in November gives you leverage.
Leverage is good. Okay. Since we know that 40% of the budget is going straight into cabinets and counters, let's talk about what people are actually buying with that money.
Let's do it.
Because to get that 70 to 90% ROI we talked about, you can't just install anything you want, right? You have to understand the local trends driving value in Woodland Hills right now.
And the trends have shifted significantly in recent years.
How so?
For a long time, the standard was high shine, glossy finishes, and stark clinical whites. Now, there is a massive shift toward warm, natural materials.
Okay, so glossy finishes are entirely out.
Basically, yeah. White oak, matte stone, and honed quartz are in. It's a much more grounded, organic aesthetic that feels, less like a sterile laboratory.
It feels much more relaxed. And the layouts are changing too, right?
Very much so.
The traditional breakfast nook, the little table shoved in the corner of the room, that's out.
Yeah.
Larger islands with built-in seating are replacing them.
Right.
And according to the data, this specific layout change provides the highest ROI among all current trends.
And the reason why is fascinating. It fundamentally changes the sociology of the room.
Sociology?
Yeah, think about it. With a massive island, the person cooking is no longer isolated, just staring at a wall while everyone else hangs out in the living room.
Oh, that's true.
They are facing the center of the space, interacting with family or guests seated right there at the island. It adds immense functional storage while simultaneously creating a gathering space.
Here's where it gets really interesting. We are seeing two contrasting behavioral trends happening at the exact same time.
Right.
On one hand, people are demanding intense hidden storage. We're talking about pull-out pantries and appliance garages.
Appliance garages are huge right now.
Yeah, this is where you use custom millwork, which is just specialized custom-built cabinetry to literally hide your toaster, your blender, your coffee maker behind sliding doors to keep the counters totally clear and minimalist.
It's like hiding your messy life from your guests.
Exactly. But on the other hand, we are literally opening up the exterior wall so the kitchen flows right out onto the patio.
Yes, the indoor-outdoor flow is huge for Woodland Hills, where so many homes open up directly onto a backyard.
It's such a staple of LA architecture.
Kitchens are being designed explicitly to connect with that natural light and outdoor living space, rather than being closed off behind four walls.
Okay, so you have a space that hides the work aspect of the kitchen. You know, the appliances, the clutter.
So that the space can function aesthetically as a primary living area.
It's like the kitchen is no longer a workspace, it's the new living room.
Exactly. And to support that modern lifestyle, certain features are no longer just for early tech adopters.
Really? Like what kind of features?
Well, buyers now expect touchless faucets, app-controlled ovens where you can preheat dinner on your commute home, and built-in charging stations hidden in the island.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, these are now viewed as a baseline, not a luxury. If you don't have them, the kitchen feels instantly dated to a prospective buyer.
And we can't ignore the sustainability factor either. Homeowners are increasingly demanding energy-efficient appliances, LED integrated lighting, and water-saving faucets.
Absolutely.
And this isn't just a grassroots movement to lower utility bills, it's also partly a requirement to meet the updated and very strict California building standards for new installations.
The regulatory environment in California certainly pushes the market towards sustainability. But homeowners are embracing it because it ultimately creates a more efficient, cost-effective home that aligns with these new minimalist aesthetics.
That makes sense.
However, implementing all of these trends, the structural engineering required for indoor-outdoor flow, the custom millwork for appliance garages, the upgraded electrical pans for smart ovens, it brings us to the harshest reality of remodeling.
The timeline.
The timeline.
Right. Once you were dreaming of this incredible white oak indoor-outdoor kitchen, reality sets in. How long are you going to be eating takeout on your sofa while your house is an active construction zone?
For a standard mid-range remodel in Woodland Hills, you should expect 8 to 12 weeks from the day demolition starts to the final walkthrough.
Okay, 2 to 3 months.
But if you are doing a full structural or custom renovation, that stretches to 14 to 20 weeks.
Let's break that down because 20 weeks is almost half a year.
It is a long time.
According to the timeline in your sources, the design and material selection takes 2 to 4 weeks.
Right.
Permitting, if required, takes 2 to 6 weeks, which ideally you run concurrently with ordering materials.
Yes, a good contractor will overlap those.
Then the actual demolition and what they call the rough-in, which is when they install the raw plumbing pipes and electrical wires before the drywall goes up, that is actually fast, just 1 to 2 weeks.
It's the messy part, but it's quick.
The custom cabinet and countertop installation takes 2 to 3 weeks, and the finish work and final punch list take another 1 to 2 weeks.
And you touched on a critical administrative point there, permits.
Ah, yeah, the red tape.
They are absolutely required anytime you are moving plumbing, electrical, gas lines, or making structural layout changes, like knocking down a wall for that indoor-outdoor flow.
Got it.
If you were just doing cosmetic work, painting and swapping out a faucet, you usually don't need them. But always confirm that with your contractor.
And one great thing about LA is that the weather rarely delays interior work. You aren't getting snowed in.
Very true.
The delays usually come from custom material back orders or late-stage design changes where the homeowner suddenly changes their mind about the tile.
Which happens a lot.
I can imagine. But I have to say, 12 to 20 weeks still sounds like a massive disruption to your daily life. What's the actual biggest bottleneck here? Is it the physical hammering and sawing, or is it just waiting on the red tape and shipping delays?
What's fascinating here is that the physical construction is often the most predictable and straightforward part of the timeline.
Really?
Yeah. The bottleneck is almost always administrative or logistical. It's waiting for the Los Angeles Department of Building and Safety to review a plan, issue a correction, and finally approve it.
Which can take weeks.
Or it's waiting for a custom white oak cabinet to arrive from a manufacturer who had a supply chain hiccup.
Oh, that sounds incredibly frustrating.
It is, and this is exactly why having an active, licensed, insured contractor who provides a fixed price proposal before demolition even starts is the ultimate secret to staying on schedule.
Because if they've given you a fixed price and a schedule, it means they have already solved the logistical puzzle before they pick up a sledgehammer.
Exactly.
And there is a real local advantage mentioned in the sources here. A general contractor who specifically works in Woodland Hills, like Cala Builders, actually understands the local permit turnaround times with the city.
Right, they know the neighborhood layout patterns.
Yeah.
That local familiarity is invaluable. It is the difference between a contractor who is just guessing how long the city will take and a contractor who knows exactly which inspector to call and what specific documentation that inspector expects to see.
It eliminates the friction.
It can literally shorten the red tape stage by days or even weeks. And as a side note, if your project happens to touch a bathroom as well, combining those under one timeline and one point of contact saves a tremendous amount of money and time compared to running two separate projects back to back.
Oh, definitely. Do them both at once if you can survive the dust.
Yeah.
So we have covered a massive amount of ground today.
We really have.
Looking at all this data, we've seen that a kitchen remodel in Woodland Hills is a serious undertaking and a major investment, ranging from $35,000 for a mid-range update to over $100,000 for full custom work.
But it's an investment that historically returns up to 90% of its value in home equity, if done right.
We've seen where that money goes, heavily into the skilled labor and materials required for custom cabinets and stone.
Right.
And we know what future buyers actually want: big functional islands, hidden appliance garages, smart tech, and warm natural materials that flow right out into the backyard.
And most importantly, we've seen that the key to surviving that 8 to 20-week timeline without losing your mind or blowing your budget is hiring a unified design-build team.
Exactly.
When the designer who draws the plans, the project manager who buys the materials, and the tradesmen who install them are all under one roof, the communication is tight, the schedule is realistic, and the budget is controlled.
Exactly. And if you are ready to stop dreaming and start actually planning, the sources note that Cala Builders offers a free consultation and fixed price estimates before any contract is ever signed.
Which is great peace of mind.
So you know exactly what you were getting into without any surprises. You can reach out to them to start your Woodland Hills kitchen remodel or honestly any major project across LA County by calling them at 310-299-7128.
Awesome.
You can also email them at info@calabuilders.com. And if you want to see them in person, they have offices at 5060 W Pico BLVD in LA and right in the Valley at 21255 Burbank BLVD in Woodland Hills.
It's really about taking that first step with a team you can trust to navigate the complexities. But as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with something to think about. Building on that trend of indoor-outdoor flow and hidden storage we discussed earlier.
Okay, let's hear it.
With kitchens increasingly hiding their functional appliances in garages and physically opening up their walls to blend seamlessly with outdoor patios,
Yeah.
will the traditional concept of rooms in a house eventually disappear entirely? Are we moving toward a future where our homes are just one continuous, fluid, indoor-outdoor living space?
That is definitely something to chew on as you look at your own floor plan. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.